these harlots. And the harlots have no power unto themselves beyond guilt, social pressure, shame. And when you're in a relationship with them, the denial of pleasure and favor and the threat of personal punishment. That is the only power they have. So when you take that away from them, when you become Mgtow through social education for men, you now are empowered, seriously empowered. And women don't like that. Feminist women do not like being exposed for what they are. They do not like it. They hate it. Because people that know me personally, they know who I am. They know my profession. That means they know things about me. Now, I'm not in trouble, and I can't complain that people know things about me. People in my city talk about me. People that know me. I have a reputation. It used to be sterling until it was damaged through a punishment action. But with the people that really matter, that is the people who know me, care about me, and benefit from me, I am still A1. That can't be destroyed. Right? But there can be attempts at it, and that's what was done. Attempts to destroy my reputation. Punishment, abuse. But social education for men teaches us that we can be free. That we do not have to succumb. We do not have to succumb to these threats. And we can continue to expose feminism and feminist mentality and the damage feminism does to men. We can now do that using YouTube and using our brains. Right? This fear that you're going to get in trouble for talking about your own life and sharing your own experience and your own heartfelt beliefs in life. You're allowed to do it, men. That's what I'm doing here. And that is why you see this mug, this face, and you hear my real voice, not some monotone computer-generated bullshit. And these are real thoughts I have. There is no hate in them, but there is loathing for feminism and its mentality and what it's done to destroy men in America and families and young boys. And it's stolen from women their ability to be real women and instead turned them into heartless, man-hating wenches. So here we go. YouTube and Mgtow. You live freely with no fear when you're in Mgtow. There's a lot of Mgtow that are fearful. They're afraid of losing their jobs. They're afraid of losing social status. Now, I told my bosses, both of them, I have two people I answer to directly. I sat down and I said, this is what I do. I do Mgtow videos, right? I talk about social dynamics between men and women and about social agendas and programs, social engineering. And I share my opinion on that. I don't talk about exactly where I work, and I don't even share what city I'm in. So no one is injured. And so therefore, I was told by my bosses, and I want you to hear this very clearly out there, my personal life is not affecting my job performance, and therefore nothing in my personal life can come in through him and affect my job. I will not lose my job for sharing my opinion in a closed forum that is private that no one is forced to watch. So take that, put it in your fucking pipe and smoke it, bitch. Because I live freely with no fear, I can speak freely and educate men. That's what this channel is about. It is about educating about feminism and how it destroys, the methods and means by which it's done, and how we as men should think about ourselves and understand we are powerful individuals and we do not have to succumb to this control system that's graduated that ultimately ends up in our destruction and threats and persisting abuse. Persisting abuse. Number 2, I can use personal examples and observations in my life. I interview dozens of men and women every week. Dozens of people share with me personal stories, attitudes, their observations, their lives. I do not use their names, but I take their stories and I learn from them, and then I bring them to you guys to discuss them. So my exes out there, thank you very much for all of the material that I am now using, and I have a legal right to use to educate men using personal examples and observations in my life. Observations meaning what other people tell me about their lives, whether they're men or women. You can't stop me, you bunch of bitches. You can't. Not even a court can stop me because I'm not hurting anyone and I'm not naming names. And the very fact that I am putting my face on here and that some people go, oh shit, he's talking about me. That's not my fucking fault. I'm not naming names. So all you exes, smoke it. I can use personal examples in my life. Whether or not you like it, you bunch of heartless wretches, whether you like it, I can talk about my life. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm exposing feminism. I'm exposing evil, corrupt, filthy behavior by women. And I'm not angry. I'm not hate-filled. But I am passionate, right? You're going to tell me that Robert De Niro can't act because his passion is offensive? Right? The passion of actors isn't allowed. The passion of singers. The passion of feminist teachers in colleges. They're allowed to be passionate, but I'm not. I can't raise my voice. Right? When I talk to feminists, you know what they do when they start hearing me get passionate? They go, stop yelling at me. Stop it. Stop yelling. I don't have to take this. I'm like, no, I can raise my voice. You want to fucking hear yelling? Your eardrums will break. That's yelling. An elevated voice brings passion and volume into it, and tone. I have passion and tone, and I will use it when I speak. It is not yelling. It is thunderous, and feminists fear my voice. They fear it because passion and belief and truth exist in my heart and in my intellect. And women cannot stop that. And they hate it. So they pretend to be scared by it and threatened by it. And it is all feigned horseshit. Because I have on video recordings, I have on audio recordings with these same feminists, how they threaten me. That's right. I've recorded you, every word you say when you talk to me. You bunch of vile bitches. All right. And I hear the things you call me, and it's reported back to me. So when it gets down to it, threats. I am exposing the fact that feminists use threats. Very small, bigger, and then bigger yet. Even after you leave them. If you've created a nexus by which they are intertwined with you, marriage, children, and assets, they will continue to use threats as much as they can throughout their life. Because they want control of you still. They want the destruction of you even after they leave you. That's why things like spousal support, which I don't get and I'm actually legally entitled to. I waived my right to that, to get rid of the hairy little cunt. Power over others. The power of others is what threats give women. These feminist women. It gives them the power. If they threaten me with going to court, then I am faced with the threat of dealing with a judgment and then the implementation or execution of that judgment through law enforcement. That is what I am threatened with. And I don't give a fuck. Threaten all you want because I know my rights. I know that I have the ability to speak and educate others. These videos, as I've said all along, are educational. And I am also very much into encouraging men not to commit crimes, not to be morally reprehensible, but to be men and unapologetic about it. To be unapologetic about men, about being a man, about helping other men realize what's going on through my various presentations, my colorful stories that I like to share. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter whether it's absolute truth or whether the entire story is fictitious. Because there's something about a court of law. It's a he said, she said. Anyone can make up a bunch of stuff in court. So it's hearsay. It's neither here nor there legally. And a complaint using hearsay is no complaint at all, even in today's shitball courts, where women love to lie and then work on the feelings. The courts themselves aren't shitball, but the way they're treated by lawyers and feminists, they're used as a device, an implementation device, where their threats put them in the power and the position to persistently abuse men through government mandate, that is, government or court decisions and law, statute. And I don't think any judge out there likes believing that they're in a kangaroo court situation. But by the time a feminist drags a man into court, she has him browbeaten, scared to death, afraid, fearful of the financial penalties, fearful of the other abuse that's going to be heaped upon him if he doesn't submit to her. Women have no power of their own. None at all, none whatsoever. They have to use the power of others to get what they want, under threats. You think you can threaten me? Try it. Bring it on. I've got you recorded. I told you long ago, you who knows who I'm talking about, that you either write to me in a text or in an email. And I told you, anytime you talk to me, it'll be recorded. Now, whether or not that's admissible in court, it's up to the court. Feminism destroys. I told you this is a war. And it's fought on a physical realm, in the physical, personal sense. And we have to be willing to stand up for ourselves. We have to stop being afraid of what these people do, because their threats give them control and destructive power over your life. So I caution men, if you're going to get in a relationship with a woman, you better put everything you own in a irrevocable contract trust to protect your assets. You better protect yourself, because once this nexus is established, they're going to own you, and then they will destroy you. So as Mgtow, as men, you need to decide how important it is to have a long-term relationship or marriage with a woman. Right? If 80% of all marriages end up in destruction, 90% end up in destruction of either a man or his will. That is a pussy-whipped, brow-beaten mangina who is married he's not having a good marriage. It is not good. It is not healthy as a man to live under the thumb of destructive feminist power and destructive feminist threat. That's not a successful marriage. So I count that as a divorce. Who knows what the real number is? 95% of all marriages are destructive of men, either through divorce or through the absolute total capitulation and surrender of your will as a testicle-bearing member of the human race. Why would you do that to yourself and enter into that relationship knowing that's what you have in store for you? It is a war out there. The battleground is established through relationship dynamics, right? And when you've been conquered, either personally, spiritually, who you are, or whether it moves to the dissolution process and then the threats process. That's where I'm at. I'm still being threatened. And she can't threaten me. No woman can threaten me and have it stick, because I am insulated. I have prophylactics in place to protect me, to insulate me, to shield me. You can't steal my assets anymore, and I'm allowed to speak, and I will continue to do so. Now I'm going to say this, gentlemen. Over the past 2 days, YouTube has lowered the amount of views they say I've gotten. And I've heard this complaint from many, many, many YouTubers, providers. And I don't know if they go through and they gradually remove links, right? So if you're reposting my video through Facebook or other social media sources, I would like to encourage you to continue to do so. Continue to do that. If you're being stopped, put in the comments what's going. If YouTube isn't allowing it or Facebook isn't allowing it. It's interesting.